Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Dogma podcast. I am Jose and I'm joined every week by the all-knowledgeable Blake.
Thank you for the recognition. Happy to be here. And I cannot wait to discuss today's film.
Oh, so you bring opinions to the table. You didn't leave it at home.
At the very least, like religion, I bring more questions.
But they're questions that make you grow when you answer them for yourself, no?
I think that's what the intention of the film was, but let's
not jump the gun when we haven't even said what we're going to be discussing today. But today we're going to be talking about the recent movies right now in the cinemas called Conclave, directed by Edward Berger. I'm not completely sure if the pronunciation is right. With Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini.
That is accurate. Sorry, I was pulling up Edward Berger's Wikipedia page because I thought he had directed other things I had seen, but I have not. That's not to say you haven't heard of him. He did the 2022 remake of All Quiet on the Western
All is quiet. Yep. And this was my pick. I don't think that I have like a lot to say of why. I'm sorry about that. It's more like when we were watching The Substance like some weeks ago, and I went like to the cinema for some other reasons. Is that I saw this trailer, and for me, it felt like a bit of a who is excited about watching a movie about choosing a pope? Is this like an interesting topic nowadays? My boyfriend that we were watching like the trailer together, he was like super excited about like, oh my god, I really want to watch that. So I was curious, and then also when we were discussing about like what to watch this week, this movie was in all of the cinemas in Chicago.
Every single theater we looked at had
It's
multiple
insane.
screens.
Yeah, there were other movies that were interesting about, like, hey, why don't we go to watch this? But they were only like playing it in one or two screens. This one, it was in all of the AMCs. It was in a Cinemark around the corner. It was like in the local neighborhood, like cinema. And I went like to the local cinema, like around the corner, and it was fairly packed. I mean, it's true that it's like opening night when we watched it. But I was surprised about like how popular this movie was.
I mean, you and I are both fairly familiar with how San Franciscans go see movies, which is rarely, if ever. And every showing that I tried to buy tickets to was either sold out or almost sold out, which blows my mind. This is not the sleeper hit I thought it would be, but people are going to see it. And
It
also,
looks like it is.
I just saw that the budget was only $20 million, so it's going to be profitable. And we can look forward to more like this coming soon.
Conclave 2, Part 2. One more Pope. One more Pope by disaster. Yeah, for me, it got like to the point of everyone knows about this movie. When I went to the barber yesterday, and I was telling this, we're going to be like watching this movie later today. And they asked me, what movie are you going to watch? I was, it's this one called Conclave. And another barber, not my barber, another barber was like, oh my god, that's the movie where they choose the Pope. I mean, it really looks dope. I was like, first, I'm surprised that you know about this movie. And second, choosing a Pope is not what I would call dope unless you are in third of elementary, and you're like trying to do a rhyme.
Maybe they're
otherwise
just Harry Potter fans,
no.
So they're like, what, Voldemort goes to the Vatican? Yeah, I want to see that movie.
Oh my god, I completely forgot that it was Ralph Fiennes. But yeah, this was my pick, so I think that you have to summarize it.
And I will summarize it. It's not a complex plot, and also we're not going to give away as much as we usually do since this has been in theaters for one day. But essentially the entire film takes place inside the Vatican. I believe the movie starts like minutes after the Pope dies, basically. We don't see him alive at all. I can't remember. Anyway, the Pope dies right at the beginning or just after the beginning. And so in Catholic tradition, the 108 cardinals, actually every cardinal that's under 80 comes to the Vatican, and they have a secret ancient ritual called a conclave where they vote for the next pope. And apparently it's been very secretive until like the last two, in the real world I'm talking about, and they've let cameras in for certain parts, but not everything. So it's still pretty secret. So the dean of the College of Cardinals, I'm sorry if I'm getting these titles wrong, is played by Ray
something like that.
Fiennes.
He's a dean.
Yeah. His name is Lawrence. He's the primary character. He's having a crisis of faith, but he is being forced to guide this ritual, the conclave, which essentially all the cardinals go into the Sistine Chapel, or at least a part of the Vatican. They're sequestered. They can't be influenced by anything outside, whether it's information or whatever. And they have to keep returning to the Sistine Chapel and voting until somebody gets the majority of votes. And so the film really shows the politics of kind of the 4 or 5 frontrunners, but like that are predicted they could be pope. There's one dark horse, a cardinal that comes out of nowhere. And I really don't think we should give away much more. Let's keep the ritual secretive.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good summary. What I could say, I was talking with my parents a moment ago, and I was giving them a bit of hey, I watched this movie. I would say is that there is mysteries and turns. Is that this is basically a thriller. So you're going to be like just stuck on your seat, like just trying to figure it out. It's like, who is exactly telling the truth or hiding something?
To give our listeners some perspective, this is based on a very popular novel written by the same guy who wrote Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. So if you're familiar with that very like nuanced spy, like who's telling the truth, we don't know, it's all cloak and dagger, it's that style of writing or genre. It's just in the backdrop of the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, that's cool. Is it truly the Sistine Chapel? Because I didn't think it was.
Oh, I just know the actual ritual takes place there. I don't think they filmed it there. I can't imagine they just were like, yeah, let's bring John Lithgow in and let him act.
I wasn't sure. I mean, definitely that was not the Sistine Chapel. I mean, they make a bit of a big deal of there is like murals here, but I was like just doubting if they actually like close, because it's that you can visit the Sistine Chapel. So if there is a conclave going on right now, you're screwed. It's like you cannot go.
You can't go. Well, in fairness, it's like a functional church building, right? So they're like, sorry, we have to use it for its intended purpose.
Okay, no, that's fair. So what do you think of it?
So I do have a lot of thoughts. One, I think that it was crazy entertaining, and I didn't realize how entertaining it was until the movie ended, and I was well aware it was going to be 2 hours long, and I was like, that was 2 hours? Holy
already?
Crap. Yeah, like I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was ready for more, which is rare. Usually, like, at 2 hours, I'm like, oh, it's done, and then there's 45 more minutes.
Yeah, this was not work.
No, super entertaining, really, really well done. I think the acting's incredible. Ray Fiennes, good lord. Even John Lithgow, I was a little bit nervous about him. He was good. I think Stanley Tucci was great. The writing is really great. They assume a little bit too much intelligence, I think, at least from American audience. So there's like no exposition in the best way possible. Like they're able to get the story across just with really naturalistic dialogue. But like, I think it was the early 90s. There was an actual conclave. I was very young, and I remember watching on the news the whole ritual with the smoke. They burn black smoke until a pope is chosen. So they do that in the film, but they don't explain it. So like you just kind of you're just expected to know a lot, which is fine. Go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say that that's something that really caught my attention. That is that, hey, this movie is super popular, as we were describing. Is that we are like surprised how popular it is. But Catholicism is not like the main religion here. I wouldn't say that it's even like the top 2, let's say.
What do you think is the top one? I'm curious.
I mean, is he like a Protestant here or evangelical?
Okay, that makes sense. You probably know better than I.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
I'm not sure. It's like I'm not sure, but it's like I had the feeling that it's not like the top one. I'm not sure if it's the top two. So the thing is, like, I think that there may be like some mysticism associated with it, similar to how Americans tend to drop their panties when they hear English accents. Is that I have had the feeling that there is a bit of it's Catholicism. I don't practice it, but I find it fascinating, some of the old rituals that they have. So I had the feeling that this is one of the pulls from this movie, like why it actually like attracted like so many people. But when I was watching, I was seeing that is my boyfriend also was raised Catholic as myself, and it's like we knew all of this shit. Is that we have heard like many times, like what the process is about, But he even like brought up about, like, yeah, I remember that many years ago there was like a terrorist attack that actually happened, So it's like
Oh,
there
that
are like
happened in
some
real life
stuff.
during a conclave?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Like an explosion aside. Here is, I mean, this on the trailer. To be fair, is that there is an explosion, whatever. Is like it's not the central piece or anything, but. I agree with you that is that there is no exposition. Is that it just expects you to know a lot of these. And for maybe us that we're familiar with the process, is that this makes sense. But I wonder if you're not familiar with the process, is that yes, they're going to be like telling you some of the stuff, almost looking at the camera like, hey, we are all going to vote, and until we don't get more than the 3/4, I think, of a majority, is like we are stuck here until we decide. So they're like part of the process that is properly exposed, but is exposed in a very clean way. That is like, oh, this guy wants to keep it here for weeks until we decide someone.
Yeah, but it's done it's so well done. I thought
It's
and
elegant.
it
Yeah,
reminded me
yeah.
of oh god, what was that Algerian film about the monks, the French monks that just went to a monastery in Algeria and the genocide was coming and they're like, you have to leave, and they're like, no, we're men of God, and they became martyrs. Anyway, beautiful film, but basically it's at the pace of the life of a monk with no talking because they didn't need it. It's so well done. I was reminded in the best way possible of this film where they're like, we're just going to show ritual and not explain it.
Yeah, but this is more entertaining.
Oh, yeah. No. My highest praise of this film is that it was so entertaining.
Okay. My highest praise for this movie is that I think that it's technically impeccable.
Yep.
Impeccable. The cinematography is like, holy shit. Is like, I don't know who is the cinematography director, but I was like pretty freaking impressed about like the framing of every single shot. About like, yep, someone spent a lot of time like just planning each one of these shots. The editing, I felt like it was amazing. Like the acting, I thought that it was good. I agree with you. I think that Ralph Fiennes is like a really good director, a really good actor. I was telling my boyfriend, is like, it's funny to see Ralph Fiennes that it almost comes across as a Shakespearean actor. That is like he can just like jump into this very intensity, like high intensity, like scenes. Like I'm going to be like getting angry like for only 2 sentences, and then I'm going to be like slowing down, and you're going to believe him. Or he can be in a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah. He has a wide
Or
range.
in Harry Potter.
And I think because of his recent career choices, specifically, well, the things I've seen him in, Harry Potter, and what else?
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, it's Wes Anderson films, which in my opinion are not super elevated. I kind of forgot how good he is. He's like really talented. I would say he doesn't carry the show because there's a lot of good performances, but like he could, if it was asked of him, he could have just been the star.
Yeah. He didn't have to in this case. It's a bit more about like the vehicle.
Yep.
It's a bit more of the observer and at the same time like forced participant to some extent, but he's supposed to be like more of an observer. So yeah. So you said that this is like the high praise. I assume that you have thoughts because it really yesterday you really wanted to talk about this.
So this is in multiple reviews. It's not a spoiler, it's an opinion about what happens in the film. So there is a surprise, not a surprise, there's an unexpected ending. And I'm
Was it the same in the book?
I didn't read the books. I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay.
I won't
Okay.
claim that. So in this unexpected ending, I'm not someone who needs clean resolution, right? Things tied up in a neat box. In fact, I prefer films that have ambiguous endings. My issue is not that it's ambiguous or not, it's that it's so unsatisfying and so unworthy of what the film was leading up to, in my opinion.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, look, maybe I'm a bit of a jaded, like kind of cinemagogue. I just felt when I saw like the cinematography style and everything is like, hey, man, I'm watching basically a David Fincher movie without the blue filter to the image.
With a gray
That is
filter.
it. I know that there was, sorry?
It had a gray filter, this one.
Oh yeah, it had a great filter. It was not the blue one, but I just felt it's like there was going to be like surprises along the way, and until the end, is like you are not going to be like knowing exactly where things land. So I even expected, that is like since something happened at the beginning, is like this is how it's going to end, and when we're like getting to the end, I was like, okay, there is one more reveal, and I look at my boyfriend, and I call it out.
Oh, really? You saw this coming?
Yeah,
Like the exact specifics?
The very, I will tell you later, but it's like on the realm of, is like, oh, this is like the reveal, like the last reveal, because I feel it's a bit more of a moratory, a bit more of, how do you say, like a moralistic kind of thing. About like, oh, it's that you want to choose like the thing that is like balanced but not too crazy, like with whoever is going to be like the next pope, blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, what can be, like what can actually be like a turnaround and see like, let's see how the church deals, like with something like this when you are trying to protect it from other stuffs, like corruption, sex scandals or whatever, and it's like, okay, let's see. But you're leaving everything exposed in this direction.
I'm very impressed.
I feel like that.
Very impressed with you because I did not. No,
Oh,
not
no?
a million years.
Okay. I will tell you. I don't want to spoil anything here, but after we are done, I will tell you. And I felt it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's similar to when you're watching like a, like Gone Girl, for example, and you are like.
I just feel
okay,
the need to call
about...
out. This is like 5 times the film Gone Girl is, regardless of its issues. I just want to call that out.
So you're saying that this is better than Gone Girl?
Yeah.
I have the feeling that you tend to have in very low esteem Gone Girl until we watch it. Just telling you that, because we used to have like this conversation that I was like, it's not that bad.
No. It's a good film. It's a David Fincher film, but it's like a lesser David Fincher film. You have to even admit that.
You scored it an 8.
Yeah, and what did I give Fight Club? That's my point.
Okay, fair. No, but I will tell you that it's like Panic Room is lesser Fincher. Alien 3 is in an even lesser of the lesser Fincher. Is that The Killer is actually around that realm. Is like Gone Girl is a good.
It is, and
Fincher
you're right.
movie.
I do forget how good that film is. That's something I do.
Yeah, it's not. So I will tell you is that and Gone Girl, I think that is 2 hours and a half. Is like this is 2 hours. I will give away something. Is that I fell asleep for a tiny bit with Conclave.
What? Just like what
in 4 or 5
section of the
minutes.
film?
Like at the beginning of the movie, when they are like just gathering everyone, I was like pretty tired. And then I saw it when I woke up. Is like my boyfriend summarized that it's like, hey, you miss one thing. I think that it was like about like one of the cardinals. But it's like that cardinal gets out of the game like fairly early.
Also, until they start having their secret side conversations, I mean, I feel like the first 30 minutes, it's important. It was good world building. Like, we bought into it, but it's not like,
Yeah. So I was like super entertained. But what is the low praise? So what are like the thoughts besides like the unsatisfying ending?
It's literally that. I have no complaints with this movie.
Oh.
I was so entertained. I just feel like the ending wasn't quite worthy of the film itself. That's it. And it's not even like they didn't handle it. There was something really interesting about the way this ending is revealed, and it subtly or not so subtly shifts how you think about a couple characters, well, at least one character that you've had an opinion about through the entire film, and I was like, oh, this just shed an entirely new light. Like, that was cool. I just feel like the gimmick, in fact, I'll call it a gimmick that they used to spark that, it just was a little gimmicky.
Okay.
That's all.
Sure. Honestly, the previous Pope, I don't know if this could be a spoiler or not. Sorry, I'm going to say like this may be a spoiler. I had a feeling that is like the setup of all of this conclave is a bit like based on different gimmicks. You know, I will tell you later afterwards, but it's like some of the reveals and some of the plan stuff is a bit of a whoa. Okay, someone has been like a mastermind of how these things are going to be like playing out when put on top of each other.
Did you feel like Isabella Rossellini like just left her other film that took place in Italy recently, where she was the matriarch of that house that was falling apart and the gold diggers, like the treasure seekers?
Wow, I don't know that movie.
It's about the
And you said that
British
she
guy.
left it?
She was. We just watched this. It was really good. It was about the British treasure hunter.
Oh, yeah, like Chimera.
But she plays the same character. She's like bitter and old and angry, so she just like wandered over to the Vatican.
She's a bit more sassy in like Chimera. She's more of a matriarch, it's true, but it's a bit more like sassy and alive. It's like here is a bit more, and she describes it. She does like the same exposition that we were saying. That she says that is like we're not supposed to talk, but God gave us also ears and eyes. So I'm forced to communicate right now.
But
so
it's
a bit
pretty
more
sassy
of a
to
stern.
like stop someone from becoming pope. She was like, "We're not supposed to do this, but
But
you're out of the
I'm going
running."
to give you a read.
And then she just mic drops and walks out of the room.
When she actually does that, is that people, there were like some people on the cinema clapping that I was like, that's good, that's well made. So my main pet peeve, or I don't know if pet peeve, but it's like my lowest like point on this movie, is that I think that is damn entertaining, like mad entertaining, incredibly well crafted. I mean, I was telling my boyfriend is that if this movie doesn't win like some of the cinematography, sound editing, like Oscars, is that I have no idea what is going to win, honestly, because I think that is like artistically crafted. But what I feel is that there is no much of a staying power here. More of a, even if he's trying to give a read about the Catholic Church, putting each character like a representation of the different problems that they have, because that's what the cardinals, each one of the different candidates are. I feel like they played very tame to actually be something that I would say is like, oh, I'm going to keep thinking about this movie in 6 months.
Yeah, it's like they dipped
It's
their
like,
toes
no.
into the culture wars in the like lightest way possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that makes it incredibly timely because I get it. I see what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but one difference, and I think that you're going to like this or maybe not, because we don't agree on principle on this. But Tar, for example, is a movie that it actually like, just goes beyond about like, hey, I'm going to be like centering into a character that is evil, is timely from the perspective of many cases of abuse are coming out right now, but it does it in a way that is like way bolder than this. This I just feel is more concerned into just being a thriller, like a mystery movie, than just being a commentary. And from that perspective, is that yes, you're entertaining, but you are not representative of something that is going to be like lasting in my mind.
I can accept that.
Accept. You accept it. What would you do if you didn't accept it?
I would reject it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for accepting. Cool. So overall, I really like it.
I did
had
too.
a blast.
And I would
It's
tell
entertaining.
people, I would recommend this. I'm sorry, I keep jumping ahead to the questions. Like, I think people should see this, and I think most people will even like it. And when I say, I say that with some surprise because it's a little bit more lofty in its ambitions than a Marvel movie. Is what my point. That's what I mean.
Do you think that this is lofty on
I
ambition.
think it's definitely better than most things in theaters right now, which is a metric I use, right? So, like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's actually what I also told to my boyfriend while living is that I'm pretty sure that Blake is going to say that this is better than the average
Which
movie
is
in the
true. It
cinemas.
really is. I
And
mean,
it's absolutely true.
even
Yeah,
if it
and I
fails,
was
it's a
like
good movie.
surprised. Yeah, I was surprised from the perspective that is like when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is going to suck balls.
So I hadn't seen the trailer until, was it yesterday or the day before, where we were like, should we see this movie since it's everywhere? And the trailer, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be solid. I didn't expect to be this entertained.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I could say about this movie and about Edward Berger in general, I had the feeling that he's pretty good from the crafting perspective. The script here was fine. I think that is more of the cast that you have, you bring it to life flawlessly. But I wonder if the script, if he actually had like a better script, like where could this have soared? Like what I was telling you, like could this movie have been bolder into just making a critique about Catholic Church?
My answer to that question is yes. If they had taken a bolder, it's not stance. If there had been bolder things in the final 3 minutes of the movie, I would have been like, this is excellent.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So should we be over the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, would you, Blake, watch Conclave again?
Yes, and in fact, I'm looking forward to watching it again because I think this is the sort of film where you'll see the film clearer the second time. Maybe some things will stand out as liking more, disliking more. So yes, I would watch it again.
Yeah, I definitely will watch it again. And I wouldn't watch it this week, but I wouldn't mind like watching it in 3 months because it's like super entertaining. And it's like, I will forget like half of it. So why don't we watch it with a group of friends?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend this to basically anyone who's an adult.
That. I recommended it to my parents already.
Oh, you did?
I was on the phone before this. I already told them, it's like, hey, when this movie opens, I think that you're going to like it. There is nothing like too sexual or too like, oh my god. And I think that maybe that's like one of the reasons why they didn't go bolder on the script, that they are like trying to appeal the masses into, hey, this is a big studio, big cast kind of movie. We don't want to be too edgy. Let's just keep it safe.
I'm trying to think if there were a few Bernadetta-style sex scenes in it, if that would have made it better.
Actually, when Ralph Fiennes was visiting like other actors at the room, other of the cardinals, when he was talking with them, he was like, "Is this going to be like changing into something else? Is this going to be, like a surprise twist here that we didn't see coming?" But no, there was no sex. Would you remember it?
Ooh, I'm going to say yes. But this is the sort of film where 90% of it is hushed conversations between 3 or 4 people. So I'm going to forget all of the little subtleties for sure, but I'll remember it's about a conclave picking the Pope, and then surprise.
No. I'm going to go with no. I have a feeling that it's like when I start watching it again, it's like some things will click on my brain. But otherwise, it's like if someone asks me in a year to summarize this, I would only say like the tagline of people choose a pope. That's it. I don't remember more of this. And twists and turns. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, I won't go into listing everything again, but from the cinematography, the acting, I think the script is stronger than I think you do, but yeah, there's a lot that's really good about it.
Yeah. For me, is that the visual language is impeccable. I was like astonished on every single shot. Like the different like camera angles like used here, like how
their
elegantly
access to
crafted.
those sites. Like, where the hell did they film? Every single location was gorgeous.
Yeah, that had to be studio. I mean, there has to be studio or a replica or whatever,
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
didn't
as
get
we were saying,
access.
I don't think it's just in chapel, yeah. Yeah. So is this a timeless piece?
You see, it's so close to being timeless. It really is. But because of the final 3 minutes, I think it's timely.
Okay, that's fair. I'm a bit like on the fence from the perspective that they critique several things of the Catholic Church. As I was saying, is that the cardinals, each one of them represents like a different problem or different mentality inside of the Catholic Church. You know, so from that perspective, it's like, hey, these problems have been here for a while. They're not exactly new. It's true, like what you mentioned, is like the three last minutes throw around all of that about like, oh, okay. But I still think that if I detach a bit from the specifics of each one of them, you could remake this movie like probably in 80 years, and that's
Yes,
just
but the
changing.
unexpected ending would be a different theme of the day. That's my point. Is yes, there's really good allegories or metaphors until they're like, oh, and here's the subject of the day.
I I reject that. I hear you. I don't share it. I don't share it with you. I think that this will still be applicable. Is that the church is, dude? We have 2 millenniums of church. Is that it's not going to be like changing much in 1 century? Believe me. It's like if women cannot be on the on the clergy, is that other stuff is not going to be like changing so much
Yeah.
in 80 years.
No.
All of this is going to still be the same.
There's so
Would you
my
turn?
my favorite film critic of all time. She works at the New York Times. She's the one who reviewed this film, so I was excited.
Oh, nice.
And there's a cleverly written line where she's like, "Now there is one obligatory sermon that's critical of the institution that the film spends the rest of the time upholding, like all films." And it's like true. There's like, oh, let's be a little bit critical of the Catholic Church, but then the rest of the film will be worshiping the Catholic Church.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's idealizing, but it's a bit more about like there is no critique about this process.
Yeah.
That is a bit bizarre, but yeah. So, would you turn Conclave into a TV show?
Honestly, it could be a TV show. It could. Yeah.
Yep. I think that a limited TV show of 4, 6 episodes, I think that it will work pretty well because
And I
it's like
see Kate
it feels
Winslet
like
as
different
Nam.
acts.
Yeah, it really does. This could easily be
Okay.
broken up to 1 hour episodes where they focus on
Yeah.
a cardinal. It doesn't have to be that gimmicky, but like there's a lot you could do here.
Yeah. Well, the movie does that because it's almost like it goes like cardinal after cardinal addressing each one of them.
Yep.
So even like the movie has that format, stretching it like a bit. I think that with this cast, it will be an incredible watch.
And also the fact it ended and I was surprised there wasn't more. Clearly, I wanted to see more. I would have watched another hour happily.
You have watched? Wasn't there like a Jude Law actually like did a show for HBO called The Pope?
Oh yeah, with Colonel Perron from Evita.
Okay.
That actor.
Okay. Yeah. Director, I don't remember. Is it Banderas?
No, it's the what was that Glenn Close movie where her husband played a Nobel Prize winning author, but it turned out she was writing everything in secret. The wife. He plays the husband in that film. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I know him as Colonel
Okay,
Perron.
yeah. Okay, sounds good. But yeah, HBO, please take this.
Yep.
Let's do like a full TV show with the same cast, please. Let's not risk anything here. Let's keep the magic and the same director, please. Everything. So could this have been a short?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the whole point was to feel a part of this ritual, right? And that's repetition. And no, this needed to be at least 2 hours. Well,
Yeah,
it needed to be longer than 60 minutes.
yeah. I agree with you. I had a feeling that yes, you could try to get it into 60 minutes, but honestly, it's so entertaining, like for 2 hours, and there is not like too much. How do you say like fat in here?
Yeah, it's
I had the
all
feeling that
necessary.
it's like, pretty lean. Yeah. everything like progress the story or develops the characters. So, and it gives us like a bit of a deeper insight into some of them. So I definitely wouldn't be trimming this. So good. Just keep it like a long feature. And do you think that this movie could have been better?
Yes, I have some notes for the ending. Yeah, I think they just need a stronger ending. Yes, that could have been improved.
Yeah. For me, the criteria is more what I was saying about like I would have liked it to be a bit bolder into just critique the church. Just get your feet wet. At least I just get a bit further. Don't leave it as a metaphorical of every cardinal as a representation of a problem with the church. you know, just go a bit more beyond that, and just giving a bit more of time or importance to Isabella Rossellini. I know that this is displayed in the right way. I had a feeling that the sisters being on the background, being observing, and having like some critical like delivery at some points is how things will play out. But a part of me just feels it's like, you could have given them a tiny bit more instead of being background pieces. And Isabella Rossellini.
Isabella Rossellini was fantastic in this role, and I think she could easily deserve an Oscar nomination. No complaints about her performance. Had Viola Davis played this role, she would have won an Oscar. That's all I'm saying.
That's mean. That's mean.
No, just because she's so good at it. Can you imagine Viola Davis in that pissed off nun role? That was made for her.
I think Isabella Rossellini has like this kind of a standoffish, like a like vibe to her. Because we saw like how she was like. Yeah, how she was like shutting off everyone on La Chimera, like with the daughters. They were like, just fuck you all. It's like, I care more about this guy that is not even in the family than all of you. So in this, I felt like she did it perfectly. I wouldn't change her. Viola Davis, I thought that you were like joking from the perspective of the doubt that she got nominated by Diet just for that single scene.
Well, that's what I mean is she could have made like on the screen for such little time, but Viola Davis would have.
Yep.
Again, I liked Isabella Rossellini, but yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought that you were implying other stuff.
Oh, like reverse racism or no. Not at all.
No, biasing. No, Viola Davis would have been great. I think that Isabella Rossellini does it perfect. And from the perspective, there is like she's Italian too, so it fits. She has the right accent. Because I also felt like a bit of I was reading that the book, the main character is Italian, and here is a bit more like, so you put a British guy, and everyone talks in English. It's true that from time to time we'll hear other languages like Spanish, Italian, Latin, but it felt like, so there is a bit of American washing here. Sorry, English washing here.
Yeah, I was like, Ray Fiennes. We'd love to claim him, but he's not.
Yeah.
I really want someone who speaks Italian to tell me how good Ray Fiennes' Italian was, because he convinced me that he spoke Italian. Good for him, man.
No. Yeah, I will ask my boyfriend about these.
Also, side note, really quick, I just watched the episode of Friends that has Isabella Rossellini as herself, and it made me really happy.
Oh, that's right. I have forgotten. She was also like a bit standoffish, no?
Because Ross tries to sleep with her because he was going to be on her list of exceptions of celebrities he's allowed to sleep with. And she was like, no.
No, thank you. You are not on mine.
That's exactly what happened.
I mean, so should we score it?
Yes, and now that I know what I gave Gone Girl, I can score this film.
Okay, so this was my pick. I'm a bit torn. I honestly don't know what to score this. Because we also discussed about Gone Girl. Yeah, let's go for it.
Honestly, for me, it's between an 8 and an 8.5. Let's just go 8 until I rewatch Gone Girl and figure out how it relates.
Okay, for me, I'm going to be like giving it a bit higher than I expected. I'm going to be like giving it a 7.5. For me, it's like pretty good, and it's the same score that I gave to Gone Girl too.
Yeah, okay.
Is that I feel like the two of them like play on the same field. I love how well crafted this movie is. That I remember that we also discussed when we watched All Is Quiet in the Western Front. That we also discussed that is like, dude, this script is boring as hell, but this movie was incredibly crafted.
Yeah, I really like what you said about it's like a David Fincher film set in the Vatican, because it's not like trying to be Fincher, but it's as 100% realized as a David Fincher film. Like, the director was like, this is what I want it to be, every shot, every moment, and he did it, and it's fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, like completely on top. So from that perspective, I will keep an eye on whatever this guy does next, because I had the feeling Edward Berger, because I think that he has won me over, not from the, oh my God, it's going to be the best movie ever, but I know that it's going to be like watching something that is going to be like pretty well crafted.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how I felt about All Quiet on the Western Front, besides baffled someone would try to remake one of the greatest war films of all time. But now, after this film, I'm like, yeah, I'll pay attention to that name now when he comes out with something.
As a reminder, when we watch it, you scored it a 7, All is Quiet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is I don't remember anything besides, like, I loved the original.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it also 3 hours?
It could be, honestly.
Oh, God. Okay. But yeah, anything else to say about Conclave?
Despite any complaints I might have or you might have, it's a film worth watching. Like, I don't think anyone's going to regret watching this, so go see it.
Yep. When we agreed of let's watch Conclave, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like
neither one of us were
recording of
convinced.
20 minutes. No, not at all. This has been like a super surprise to me. A bit more about like a mainstream movie can still be good.
You picked another surprisingly good film recently. You've picked good films lately. What was it? I remember.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, let's not say.
Okay.
Let's not say, but I think that I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, if we don't have anything else to say about Conclave, besides like
those
go
are
watch
all my
it.
opinions today.
You ran out
More
of them.
next week.
You're like in the exactly. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for putting up with us.
Until next time.
Bye.